In this example, I want to demonstrate how to use the model-based definition in dimensioning in an imported step file. And so I don't have a history tree, and I would like to know the dimensions of all the features. And I'll go to the annotation tab and I'll select dimension, and I'm going to dimension from this face over to this face. And so I see that it's going to give me that dimension on that plane. If I hit the spacebar, it switches to this plane, and if I hit the tab key, it switches the orientation of the text. So I'm going to go ahead and accept that. Maybe I want this to be up here, though it's actually down here in the body. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to change the annotation plane, and I'll select up here on this plane and I'll accept that change, but it moved my text, so I'll toggle that alignment back to this alignment. And then I'll continue on dimensioning. So I may want to dimension the distance from this circle to this circle, and again I can hit the space bar to toggle a plane, and I can hit the tab key to toggle the placement of the text. Move this out a little bit, and I will continue dimensioning. And so I want to dimension the distance from this edge to this circle, and again if I want to toggle that text, I can hit the tab key to toggle that, or I can toggle it after the fact. Now if I want to change the number of decimal places on this, I can right click and go to precision, and I could change that number of decimal places. Unfortunately, it would be nice if there was a match properties that I could change, say 1 to 1 decimal place, and then copy that properties, but you have to do it individually. I guess the reasoning there isn't a match properties is because it would also do the toggle alignment, but maybe that would be a good thing. The annotation plane, I don't know. Anyways, it is what it is. So I'll continue dimensioning, and perhaps we need to know this distance from here to here, and I can put that in, accept that, and I can of course move dimensions around, change the number of decimal places if I need to. And I don't know why this thing is, I guess you got to go straight over from the arrow. And I'll continue to put some more dimensions. Now let's look at a dimension like from this face to this face, and I will tab that. And so maybe I want my text like that, but if I hit the space bar, it doesn't get on a plane that I would like. So I'll go ahead and say okay to that, and then I will right click on this and I will select change the annotation plane, and I'll select this plane, and so now it's on that plane, and I can accept that, and then I'll change the alignment of the text. And so now I have that the way I want it, and I may want to change the number of decimal places, and so I'll go to the precision, and this is really too touchy. It shouldn't be so touchy. I have to follow this arrow straight over, and then I can go into the column. Now I'll continue on dimensioning, and so I'm going to dimension from this edge over to this edge, and I'll tab that orientation, accept that one. Now also over here there's a list of everything that we've done. You can also right click and get those options over here, or you can just right click and get that right on the annotation. I'll continue on, and I'll dimension from here to here. I'll hit the space bar, I'll hit the tab key, and I'll accept that. I'll dimension this radius, and I'll hit the tab key. I'll accept that one, and I'm going to dimension the distance from this circle over to this edge. Tab, I have that dimension, and then I will dimension the distance from this edge to this point. Now if I hit the space bar, it puts it on this plane. If I hit the space bar, it puts it on this plane. I may want this, it might be easier to see because this 42.5 on this plane is almost the same as the 41, and so I'll put it on this plane, and I may change the precision on that. And so I'll go over here and change that to 41. I may need to move around dimensions once I get them on here to make it look aesthetically pleasing, and of course as we rotate around, we want that to be aesthetically pleasing from several angles. And I will then continue on, and I'm going to dimension from this face to this face, and we see that it puts it either back there. I'll hit the tab key. Now let's go ahead and accept it in this location. I'll hit the tab, and notice that it's kind of ambiguous about where it's going, and so I'll select that annotation, and I will change the annotation plane back here to this plane, and so now it's more obvious where that is going. And again, I have to toggle that alignment, and we'll move it. I tend to just put all of the dimensions on and then worry about moving them around to make them look aesthetically pleasing after I get all the dimensions. And so I'll go ahead and accept that one. I want to move that up to this plane, and so I'll change the annotation plane up to this face, and I'll go around and get all of the precision here after I have all of my dimensions in here. So I want to dimension this circle, tab that, dimension this circle, and I'll tab that, and I will dimension the distance from the center of this circle to the center of this circle. And let's a space bar, get that over on this plane, tab, I'll accept that, and then I will dimension from this face up to this circle. I'm going to space bar that to put that over on this plane. I'll hit the tab key and I'll accept that, and then I will dimension again from this circle to this face. And now this one could be a difficult one to get it to appear the way I want it to. Let's go ahead and accept that one, and I'll move this dimension over here someplace. So I might go back on this one and do some adjustment on that later on. Alright, so I have all of these dimensions. Let's dimension the diameters of the holes. And so I'll dimension the diameter of one of these holes. I'll hit the tab key and I'll place it in some location, and I'm going to then click here in front of this greater than less than, and I'm going to put 4 times. I'll say OK to that. So I added that note to the text. Now, one thing I haven't figured out is how to put center marks in the holes. I'm not sure if there's a way to do that in the GD&T or not. I think I have just one more dimension to go, and so I'll dimension. I'm going to try to dimension just this line, and we see that if I'll hit the space bar, and it's going to put it over there, or I can put it over here. So you can just pick an edge and it will dimension the length of that edge. And the last thing is to go through and make sure the precision is correct on all of your dimensions. Adjust the placement to make it look aesthetically pleasing for all of your dimensions and easy to read.